My daughter-in-law's business just hit $1 million in revenue. She threw a massive celebration dinner at the most expensive steakhouse in Chicago, Ruth's Chris, and invited everyone who mattered to her. Everyone except me. 3 hours into their party, my phone buzzed. I looked down at the text from Sophia, my daughter-in-law. "Margaret, there's leftover meatloaf in the fridge. Heat it up for dinner. Don't let it go to waste." I stared at those words until they blurred. Then I typed back just 2 letters. Okay. What Sophia didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I owned 60% of her successful business. And I had the contracts to prove it. That night, while they popped $200 bottles of champagne and celebrated her achievement, I packed my bags and made 3 phone calls that would change everything. Because sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one holding all the cards. And when they came home that night, drunk on expensive wine and their own arrogance, what they found waiting for them would make them realize they'd been celebrating with my money all along. But let me take you back to where this all started. It was 8:47 p.m. on a Tuesday when I got that text. I was sitting at the kitchen table, not the dining room. I wasn't allowed to eat there anymore, unless we had real guests, staring at a can of Campbell's tomato soup I didn't even want. The house smelled like the lavender floor cleaner I'd used that afternoon. Every corner was spotless. I'd spent 6 hours cleaning, scrubbing baseboards, ironing William's dress shirts, folding little Liam and Ava's school clothes into perfect rectangles the way Sophia liked them. My hands still smelled like bleach and Windex. I picked up my phone, thinking maybe it was my son William saying they saved me a seat. Maybe they'd realized their mistake. Maybe someone at that table full of laughter and celebration had said, "Hey, where's Mom?" But no. "Margaret, there's leftover meatloaf in the fridge. Heat it up for dinner. Don't let it go to waste." Not "Mom," not "Margaret, we miss you." Not even, "Hey, save some for yourself." Just instructions. Like I was the help, I read it once, twice, 3 times. Each time, something inside my chest cracked a little more, like ice on a frozen lake, silent until you fall through. It wasn't just the text. It was the tone, the casual cruelty wrapped in practicality. It was knowing that while I sat alone eating canned soup in a house I helped pay for, they were toasting with $18 cocktails at a restaurant where the cheapest steak costs $65. I opened Instagram. I shouldn't have. I knew I shouldn't have, but I did. There they were. The first photo showed Sophia in a stunning emerald green dress, the one she bought last week for $340. She was holding a champagne flute, her smile bright enough to light up Chicago. The caption read, "1 million in revenue. Started from nothing. Now we're here." Boss lady. Self-made. Women in business. 274 likes in 40 minutes. The second photo was the whole table. My son William in his navy suit, the one I'd picked up from the dry cleaners that morning. Liam and Ava making silly faces with shrimp cocktails in front of them. Sophia's sister Jessica, her brother Michael, her mom Patricia who'd flown in from Boston. 9 people. 9 people celebrating, and me eating soup from a can. I scrolled through the comments. "You go girl." "Self-made millionaire at 36. This is what hard work looks like." "Started from the bottom, now you're here." Started from the bottom, I almost laughed. Almost. Because what none of those 374 people knew, what Sophia had conveniently forgotten, was who gave her the $140,000. That started that business 4 years ago. I closed Instagram. I put my phone down on the scratched kitchen table. I looked at my soup, now cold and congealing, and then something happened. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the phone across the room like I wanted to. Instead, an icy calm washed over me. The kind of calm that comes right before a storm. The kind of calm that means you finally had enough. I stood up slowly. My 66-year-old knees protested, but I ignored them. I walked to my bedroom, the smallest one. Naturally, because Sophia needed the master, and the kids needed their rooms, and the 4th bedroom was Sophia's home office. And I opened my closet. Because what they didn't know, what no one at that table full of celebration could possibly imagine, was that I'd been preparing for this moment for 8 months. 8 months of quietly gathering documents. 8 months of taking screenshots. 8 months of consulting with my niece Jennifer, one of the best business attorneys in Illinois. This time, I wasn't going to heat up their leftovers. This time, I was going to disappear, and when they came home that night, full of prime rib and self-congratulation, what they found would shatter their entire world. But to understand why I did what I did, you need to know how I got here. Let me take you back 4 years and 2 months. To the day I lost everything and gave away what little I had left, not knowing I was signing my own prison sentence. 4 years ago, I buried my husband, Robert, 67 years old. Heart attack. He was gone before the ambulance arrived. We'd been married for 43 years. 43 years of building a life together in our little house in Naperville, Illinois. The house with the blue shutters where we raised William. The house with the garden where Robert grew tomatoes every summer. The house where we celebrated every birthday, every Christmas, every anniversary. After the funeral, the silence nearly killed me. Every corner screamed his absence. His reading chair sat empty. His coffee mug, the one that said, "World's Best Dad," gathered dust in the cabinet because I couldn't bear to use it or throw it away. William came to visit 3 weeks after the funeral. He brought Sophia, and he had that look on his face. That smile. The same smile he'd used since he was 7 years old when he wanted to ask for something. "Mom," he said, sitting at my kitchen table with coffee I'd made. "Sophia has this incredible business idea." Sophia jumped in, her eyes bright. "It's a boutique marketing agency, Margaret, targeting small businesses in the Chicago suburbs. I've done all the research. The market is perfect. I just need startup capital." I listened as she laid out her 5-year plan. Honestly, it sounded good. Really good. Sophia had her MBA from Northwestern. She'd worked at a big agency for 6 years. She knew her stuff. "How much do you need?" I asked. William and Sophia exchanged a glance. "The thing is, Mom," William said carefully, "the bank will give us $60,000 as a business loan, but we need $200,000 total to really do this right. Office space, equipment, initial hires, marketing, a cash runway for the first year. We need $140,000, Sophia said bluntly. "And Mom, we know you got the life insurance payout from Dad." There it was. Robert's life insurance had been $180,000. It was supposed to be my safety net, my retirement, my cushion for medical bills, for emergencies, for the rest of my life. "I can't give you $140,000, I said slowly. Their faces fell. "I can't give it to you," I repeated, "but I can invest it." As a business partner, Sophia's eyes widened. You want to be a partner? If I'm putting in $140,000 of the $200,000 total startup capital, then yes. I want equity. I want a percentage of ownership. William grinned. "Mom, that's actually perfect. You'd own 70% of the company. 60% is fair," I said. I didn't know much about business, but I knew basic math. You're putting in $60,000 plus your labor and expertise. I'm putting in $140,000, 60-40 split. Sophia hesitated. I saw something flicker across her face. Doubt? Annoyance? But then she smiled. "That's more than fair, Margaret. And honestly, when this takes off, you'll make your money back 10 times over. You'll never have to worry about retirement." We shook hands right there at my kitchen table. "We'll get the lawyers to draw up the partnership papers," William promised. "Everything official and legal. This week," I said firmly. "Before I transfer the money." "Absolutely, Mom. This week," but that week got busy. Sophia needed to secure the office space fast before someone else grabbed it. The lease required an immediate deposit. Could I just transfer $20,000 right away? Then they needed equipment, computers, software, furniture. Could I transfer another $30,000? Then Sophia found the perfect senior account manager, but she was deciding between 2 offers. They needed to show they could pay her immediately. "Could I transfer $40,000? "Mom, the partnership papers are drawn up," William assured me over the phone. "The lawyer just needs us all to come in and sign. But he's booked out for 3 weeks. Can we just get this done after we sign? The business can't wait." And like an idiot, like a trusting mother who believed her son would protect her, I kept transferring money, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $25,000, $15,000, $10,000 by the time I'd transferred all $140,000, the business was up and running. Elevate Marketing Solutions had a beautiful office in downtown Naperville, 5 employees, and a growing client list, and I had 0 legal documentation of ownership. "Mom," William said when I brought it up for the 4th time, "we're gonna do it. The lawyer is just really backed up. And honestly, you're family. You don't need to worry. When the business makes money, you'll get your share." "I promise," Sophia nodded enthusiastically. "Margaret, you're an owner. We're not gonna forget that. Once things settle." I called an Uber, grabbed my suitcase, and walked out the front door. I didn't look back. As the Uber pulled away from the gated community, I watched the house disappear in the darkness. Tomorrow, the war would begin. But tonight? Tonight, I was finally free. And when they came home drunk on champagne and celebration, they were going to open that envelope and realize the biggest mistake of their lives. You don't steal from a woman who's got nothing left to lose. I wasn't there when they got home. But Liam told me everything 3 days later when he showed up at Barbara's house, crying. Let me tell you what happened that night, exactly as my 9-year-old grandson described it through his tears. It was 12:47 a.m. when William's Mercedes pulled into the driveway. The security guard at the gate told me later they were blasting music, laughing loud enough to hear from 50 feet away. Sophia was leaning on William's shoulder, singing off-key to some pop song. She'd had 4 glasses of wine, 2 champagne toasts, and a shot of tequila that her sister insisted they do. William wasn't sober either, 3 whiskeys and multiple beers throughout the night. They stumbled up the front steps, William fumbling with his keys. "Shh," Sophia giggled. "Don't wake up your mom." "Let her sleep," William slurred slightly. "She deserves rest after watching the house all night." They opened the door. The house was dark except for the hallway light I always left on so they wouldn't trip. "Mom?" William called out, his voice thick. "We're home." Silence. Sophia flipped on the living room light. Everything looked wrong, not empty, but different. The crocheted blanket I'd made, the one that was always draped over the armchair, was gone. The framed photos on the mantel were different. 3 were missing, my photos. The picture of Robert and me on our wedding day. The photo of baby William in my arms. The sunset from Sanibel Island. "Did your mom rearrange stuff?" Sophia asked, frowning. William walked to the kitchen, turned on the light. My recipe box was gone from the counter. The dish towels I'd embroidered with little flowers, gone. The ceramic utensil holder I'd brought from my old house, gone. "Mom?" he called louder. "Where are you?" They went upstairs. Liam told me this is when the alcohol started wearing off and the fear started creeping in. My bedroom door was open. William pushed it wider and turned on the light. The bed was made. Perfectly made, like I always left it, but empty. The closet door hung open, empty of all my clothes. Just bare hangers. The nightstand, empty. No books, no reading glasses, no tissues, no hand cream. The dresser, drawers pulled out, completely bare. It was like I'd never existed in that room. "What the hell?" Sophia whispered behind him. William ran to the bathroom. My toothbrush, gone. My face soap, my hairbrush, my cheap drugstore moisturizer, all gone. He came back to the bedroom, and that's when he saw it. On the kitchen counter downstairs, visible from the top of the stairs through the open concept layout, was a white envelope practically glowing under the pendant lights. William ran down the stairs so fast he almost tripped. He grabbed the envelope. His hands shook as he opened it. There was my note, written in the shaky handwriting of a 66-year-old woman who'd finally found her voice. Sophia read over his shoulder. Liam said his dad's face changed as he read. "From confusion to disbelief. From disbelief to pure horror. What does it say?" Sophia demanded. "Did she leave? Did your mom actually leave?" William didn't answer. He'd seen the manila envelope underneath. He ripped it open with clumsy, alcohol-slowed fingers. Documents spilled onto the counter, bank transfer receipts. Email printouts, text message screenshots. And there, on top of everything, was the partnership agreement. The one with William's signature and Sophia's signature and my blank signature line. The one they'd hidden from me for 4 years. "No," William whispered. No, 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 no! What? Sophia grabbed the papers. Her eyes scanned the partnership agreement. Once, twice. Then she went pale. Like ghost pale? This can't be real. She found it, William said hollowly. Mom found the partnership agreement. But how? It was in my locked file cabinet in my office. Does it matter how? William's voice rose. She found it, Sophia. She knows we've been lying to her for 4 years. The silence that followed was deafening. Then Sophia's face changed. From shock to anger. Okay, this is bad, but we can fix this. We'll tell her it was a misunderstanding. We'll tell her the lawyer said we couldn't finalize it until the business was profitable or something. There's more, William interrupted. He was reading another document from the envelope. His face had gone from pale to green. What? Sophia, she has every wire transfer receipt. All $140,000, each one marked investment capital. So she has proof, legal proof. And look at this. He held up a printout of text messages. These are from me, from 2 years ago, promising her we'd finalize the partnership papers next month. From a year ago, saying the lawyer is almost done with the final version. Sophia snatched the papers. She read through them, her hands trembling. Oh my God, she documented everything, William said. His voice cracked. Every promise we made. Every time we put her off. Oh God, Sophia. Look at the date on this email. He showed her his phone, having found the email in his own sent folder. 3 years ago, William had written, Mom, you're not just family, you're a business partner. We would never cut you out. The papers are just a formality. You own 60% of this company, and that's never going to change. We're screwed, Sophia whispered. William, we're completely screwed. You think? William's voice exploded. For the first time in their marriage, Liam heard his father scream at his mother. You said we'd give her the papers eventually. You said she'd never push back. You said, I know what I said, Sophia screamed back. But she's your mother. She's supposed to just what? Just let us steal from her. Sophia's mouth opened and closed. No words came out. William picked up his phone with shaking hands. He dialed my number, straight to voicemail. He tried again, 10 times, every time. Voicemail? He started texting. Mom, please answer me. Mom, I'm so sorry. We can explain everything. Please don't do this. Mom, please. None of them delivered. I'd blocked his number. Sophia tried calling from her phone. Blocked. That's when it hit them. This wasn't a tantrum. This wasn't me being dramatic. I was done. We need a lawyer, Sophia said, pacing frantically. First thing tomorrow. It is tomorrow, William said, looking at the clock. 1:23 a.m. And Mom's note says we're meeting with her lawyers tomorrow, today, whatever. Sophia grabbed the partnership agreement again, studying it like maybe it would say something different if she looked hard enough. Okay, think. We've been running this business for 4 years. We built it from nothing. We did the work. Surely that counts for something. Sweat equity or adverse possession or that's for property, Sophia. Not businesses. You'd know that if you'd actually finalized the partnership agreement like you were supposed to. Don't you dare put this all on me, Sophia shouted. You agreed to wait. You said your mom would never cause problems. You said, a small voice from the stairs. Dad? They both froze. Liam stood there in his dinosaur pajamas, rubbing his eyes. Why are you yelling? Where's Grandma? William's face crumpled. Go back to bed, buddy. But where's Grandma? I heard her name. She's staying with a friend tonight. Why? Because, William's voice broke. Because Daddy made a really, really bad mistake. Liam started crying. Is Grandma mad at us? No, buddy. Not at you. Never at you. But I was already at Barbara's house by then, drinking chamomile tea with honey, wrapped in a clean quilt, sleeping the deepest sleep I'd had in 4 years. The next morning, my phone exploded. I'd unblocked William's number at 7 a.m. just to see 47 missed calls. Text messages, I scrolled through them while Barbara made me scrambled eggs and toast. Mom, I'm so sorry. Please. Let me explain. It was never supposed to go this long. We were always going to give you the partnership papers. Please. Don't destroy the business. Think about the employees. 5 people will lose their jobs. Mom, please, I'm begging you. That last one. sent at 5:47 a.m., almost broke me, almost. Then I saw the text Sophia had sent from William's phone at 6:15 a.m. Margaret, I think we can resolve this like adults. You're upset, and you have every right to be. But destroying a successful business out of spite helps no one. Let's talk, please. Out of spite. I put the phone down before I threw it across the room. What did they say? Barbara asked, setting a plate in front of me. That I'm being spiteful. Barbara snorted. Spiteful? Honey, you funded that business. You own that business. That's not spite. That's justice. My phone rang. Jennifer. Morning, Aunt Maggie. You ready for this? More than ready. Good, because I just filed the emergency shareholder petition with the court. William and Sophia should be getting served with papers right about now. At that exact moment, a process server was knocking on William and Sophia's door. William answered, looking like he hadn't slept. His eyes were bloodshot, his hair a mess, still wearing his wrinkled suit from the night before. William Peterson? Yeah? You've been served. The man handed him a thick envelope and walked away. William opened it with trembling hands. Emergency shareholder, petition Margaret Ann Peterson. Majority stakeholder, 60%, versus Elevate Marketing Solutions LLC, William James Peterson and Sophia Marie Peterson. He scanned the document. Legal words jumped out at him. Fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, conversion of assets, unjust enrichment. And at the bottom, emergency hearing scheduled for March 21st, 10:02 a.m. Cook County Courthouse, Judge Patricia Brennan presiding. That was today. In 3 hours. Sophia, he shouted. She came running down the stairs, also looking like hell. Her hair was in a messy bun, no makeup, wearing sweatpants. I'd never seen Sophia in sweatpants. What? We're being sued. Emergency hearing. Today. 3 hours. What? They scrambled. Called lawyers. Everyone was booked or unavailable for emergency hearings, or would need at least a week to review the case. Finally, they got someone. A young guy, maybe 2 years out of law school, who agreed to meet them at the courthouse at 9:30 to quickly review the situation. That's how unprepared they were. Meanwhile, Jennifer and I arrived at the courthouse at 9 a.m. sharp. I wore my navy blue dress, the one I'd worn to Robert's funeral. My good shoes, pearl earrings. I looked like somebody's sweet grandmother, which technically, I was. A sweet grandmother who was about to take back everything that was stolen from her. Jennifer looked like she'd walked out of a legal drama. Charcoal suit, heels, leather briefcase, hair in a perfect French twist. You look terrifying, I told her. Good, she said with a shark smile. That's the point. We sat on a bench outside the courtroom. At 9:35, William and Sophia rushed in with their lawyer, a baby-faced kid who looked like he might throw up. William saw me. Our eyes met across the courthouse hallway. Mom, he started toward me. Jennifer stood up, blocking his path. Mr. Peterson, you're represented by counsel now. All communication goes through lawyers. She's my mother, she's my client, and you're the defendant in a fraud case. Sit down. The authority in Jennifer's voice made William actually step back. Sophia grabbed his arm, pulling him to a bench on the opposite side of the hall. I watched them whisper frantically with their lawyer, who kept shaking his head and flipping through the documents they'd brought. At one point, the young lawyer looked over at Jennifer with actual fear in his eyes. Yeah, kid, you're outmatched. At 9:55, the bailiff opened the courtroom doors. Peterson versus Elevate Marketing Solutions. We all filed in. Judge Patricia. Brennan was a woman in her early 60s with steel gray hair and the kind of face that suggested she'd seen every trick in the book and wasn't impressed by any of them. This is an emergency shareholder petition, she said, reading from her papers. Ms. Carlson, you're representing the petitioner? Jennifer stood. Yes, Your Honor. Jennifer Carlson representing Margaret Peterson. And for the defendants? The baby lawyer stood up, his voice cracking slightly. Christopher Mills, Your Honor. I was retained this morning to represent William Peterson, Sophia Peterson, and Elevate Marketing Solutions, LLC. Judge Brennan raised an eyebrow. This morning? Yes, Your Honor. I see. Miss Carlson, this is your petition. What are we doing here? Jennifer stood, and when she spoke, her voice filled the courtroom. Your Honor, my client Margaret Peterson invested $140,000 in startup capital to found Elevate Marketing Solutions 4 years ago. In exchange, she was promised 60% ownership of the company. A partnership agreement was drawn up and signed by the other parties, but deliberately withheld from my client. For 4 years, she has been denied her ownership rights, denied any financial returns on her investment, and fraudulently excluded from the business she funded. Judge Brennan looked at William and Sophia. Is this true? Their lawyer stood up. Your Honor, this is a family matter that should be resolved through... I didn't ask you what it should be. I asked if it's true. Silence. Mr. Peterson, the judge said, looking directly at William. Did your mother invest $140,000 in your business? William stood slowly. Yes, Your Honor. Was she promised ownership in exchange? Yes. Did you create a partnership agreement? William's voice dropped to a whisper. Yes. Did you give it to her to sign? Silence. Mr. Peterson, did you give your mother the partnership agreement to sign? No, Your Honor. The courtroom was dead silent. Why not? The judge asked. More silence. Your Honor, Sophia stood up suddenly. We were always planning to... Miss Peterson, I'm addressing your husband. Sit down. Sophia sat. Judge Brennan looked at William. Why didn't you give your mother the partnership agreement? William's voice cracked. Because we wanted to grow the business first. We thought if we gave her ownership right away, she might interfere with decisions or claim what was rightfully hers. The judge interrupted. William looked at the floor. Judge Brennan turned to Jennifer. What are you seeking? Your Honor, we're seeking immediate recognition of my client's 60% ownership stake, a full forensic accounting of the business, payment of all dividends owed over the past 4 years, and removal of Sophia Peterson as CEO pending the investigation. Sophia gasped. You can't, Ms. Peterson, Judge Brennan said coldly. One more outburst, and you'll be removed from my courtroom. She turned to William and Sophia's lawyer. Do you have any evidence that disputes the petitioner's claims? The young lawyer shuffled papers. Your Honor, we were only retained this morning. We'd need time to... That's a no. Ms. Carlson, do you have documentation? Jennifer pulled out a binder. Yes, Your Honor. Tab 1 contains all wire transfer receipts showing $140,000 transferred from Margaret Peterson to Elevate Marketing Solutions, each marked Investment Capital. Tab 2 contains the partnership agreement with signatures from both defendants, but missing the petitioner's signature. Tab 3 contains 4 years of email and text correspondence where the defendants repeatedly promised to finalize the agreement. She walked the binder to the judge. Judge Brennan spent 5 minutes reading in silence. Then she looked up. I've seen a lot of things in this courtroom, she said, but I have rarely seen something this clear-cut. This is textbook fraud. Sophia made a choking sound. Here's what's going to happen, Judge Brennan continued. Effective immediately, I'm granting a temporary injunction. Elevate Marketing Solutions will be placed under independent management until this case is fully resolved. Neither Mr. nor Ms. Peterson will make any business decisions without approval from the court-appointed manager. Your Honor, Sophia started. I'm not finished. All business bank accounts are frozen except for payroll and essential expenses. A forensic accountant will review the books. And we're scheduling a full hearing for 2 weeks from today. She looked at William and Sophia. I suggest you retain competent counsel. You're going to need it. The gavel came down, just like that. Sophia's self-made million-dollar business was taken out of her hands. Jennifer and I walked out of the courtroom. Behind us, I heard Sophia crying. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. It just did, Jennifer murmured to me. Outside the courthouse, Jennifer turned to me. Aunt Maggie, you know what happens now, right? What? When they do the forensic accounting, they're going to find out how much profit the business made. And you're entitled to 60% of it. From day one. How much do you think that is? Jennifer smiled. Based on the revenue numbers Sophia posted on Instagram, conservatively, you're looking at about $320,000 in owed profits. My knees went weak. $320,000. Plus your original $140,000 investment. Aunt Maggie, you're about to get close to $500,000. And that's before we talk about punitive damages for the fraud. I sat down on the courthouse steps. $500,000, the money Robert and I had saved for 43 years. The money I'd given away, thinking I was helping my son, I was getting it back. All of it. And then some. What are you thinking? Jennifer asked. I looked back at the courthouse doors, where William and Sophia were walking out. Destroyed, and for the first time in 4 years, I smiled, a real smile. I'm thinking, I said, that sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one holding all the cards. 3 days after the courthouse hearing, William showed up at Barbara's house. He didn't call first. He just appeared on the doorstep at 7:30 in the morning, looking like he hadn't slept since the hearing. His eyes were bloodshot, his beard was growing and patchy, and he was wearing the same jeans and Northwestern sweatshirt he'd worn in college. He looked like my son again. Not Sophia's husband. Not a business owner, just my boy. Barbara answered the door. William, is my mom here? Please. I need to talk to her. I'd heard his voice from the kitchen. My heart clenched, but I stayed strong. Let him in, Barb, I called out. William walked into Barbara's cozy living room like a man heading to his own execution. When he saw me sitting on the couch with my coffee, he broke. Mom. His voice cracked completely. Mom, I'm so sorry I didn't stand up. Didn't run to hug him like I'd done his whole life whenever he was hurting. I just looked at him. Sit down, William. He sat in the armchair across from me, hunched over with his elbows on his knees, hands clasped like he was praying. I found the partnership agreement, he said. The real one. The one Sophia hid in her filing cabinet. I know. I found it 8 months ago. His head snapped up. You knew? For 8 months? I knew. Why didn't you say anything? I took a sip of coffee, letting the question hang in the air. Would you have believed me? Or would Sophia have convinced you I was confused, that I'd misunderstood, that there was some perfectly reasonable explanation? William closed his eyes. She would have convinced me. God help me, Mom. She would have convinced me, and I would have let her. I know. We sat in silence. Barbara had disappeared into the kitchen, giving us privacy, but staying close enough to intervene if needed. The forensic accountant started yesterday, William said quietly. They're going through everything. 4 years of books. Good. Mom, when this is done, when they calculate what you're owed. He looked up at me with devastated eyes. We're gonna lose everything. The house, the cars, maybe even the business. I know. The kids don't. My voice came out sharp. Don't you dare use my grandchildren as a shield, William James Peterson. You didn't think about them when you were stealing from their grandmother. You didn't think about them when you let your wife treat me like hired help. So don't think about them now! He flinched like I'd slapped him. You want to know what I thought about? I continued, my voice shaking. I thought about them every single day. I thought about Liam and Ava losing their grandma because you were too weak to stand up to your wife. I thought about what kind of example you were teaching them. That it's okay to use people, to lie to family, to take and never give back. Tears rolled down William's face. I know, you're right. About all of it. Where's Sophia? Home, with the kids. She wanted to come, but I told her no. I told her she'd done enough damage. That surprised me. You stood up to her? I listened to everything, Mom. Everything you must have gone through. And then I looked at our bank statements. Do you know how much Sophia spent last year on clothes? On shoes? On spa days and girls' trips in that ridiculous Peloton she used twice? I waited. $63,000. His voice was hollow. She spent $63,000 on herself while you were eating canned soup in our kitchen. While you were wearing the same 3 sweaters I remember from 5 years ago. While you never asked us for a single thing? I didn't need to ask. I was supposed to be a partner. Partners share in the profits. I know. He wiped his eyes. Mom, I can't fix this. I can't give you back 4 years of your life. I can't erase the hurt. But please tell me what I can do. Tell me how to make even a tiny part of this right. I'd been waiting for this question, preparing for it. First, you're gonna let the forensic accountant finish. No interference, no trying to hide expenses or massage numbers. Complete transparency. Done. Second, you're gonna go to therapy. Real therapy. Not couples counseling with Sophia, where you both pretend this was just a communication breakdown. Individual therapy, where you figure out how you became the kind of man who'd let his wife steal from his mother. William nodded, more tears falling. Okay. Third, you and Sophia are going to sell that house. His eyes widened. Mom, you're going to sell it, and you're going to downsize to something you can actually afford on your salaries. Something that doesn't require my money propping up your lifestyle. Where will we go? That's not my problem, William. You're a grown man. Figure it out. He swallowed hard. Okay. And fourth, I took a breath. You're going to tell Liam and Ava the truth. Age appropriate, but the truth. That Grandma didn't just move out. That you and Sophia made mistakes that hurt me, and now you're trying to fix them. They're going to hate us. Maybe. Or maybe they'll learn that adults make mistakes and have to face consequences. Either way, no more lies. Not to them, not to me. Not ever again. William sat there absorbing everything. Then he asked the question I knew was coming. Are you ever going to forgive me? I looked at my son, the boy I'd raised alone while Robert worked double shifts, the teenager I'd helped with college applications, the young man I danced with at his wedding, the man who'd stolen from me. I don't know, I said honestly. Ask me again in a year, after you've done the work, after you've proven you've changed. Maybe then. He nodded. That's fair. That's more than fair. He stood up to leave, then paused. Mom, for what it's worth, I'm proud of you. For fighting back. For not just disappearing. Dad would be proud too. My throat tightened. Your father wouldn't have let it get this far. No, William agreed. He would have knocked sense into me 2 years ago. After he left, I cried. But they were different tears than before. Not tears of humiliation or loneliness, tears of grief. For the relationship we'd had. For the son I'd thought I'd raised. But also tears of relief. Because I'd stood my ground. I'd said what needed to be said, and I hadn't caved. 6 weeks later, the forensic accounting was complete. Jennifer called me on a Tuesday morning, barely able to contain her excitement. Aunt Maggie. Sit down. I'm already sitting. Okay, so, the accountant finished. And Maggie? It's better than we thought. How much better? Elevate Marketing Solutions made $2.3 million in total profit over 4 years. Your 60% share of that is $1,380,000. I literally couldn't breathe. $1.3 million? Plus your original investment of $140,000, plus interest, plus damages for fraud. Maggie, we're looking at a settlement of approximately $1.7 million. The room spun. That can't be right. It's right. I triple-checked everything. Sophia's been paying herself a salary of $280,000 a year, plus bonuses, plus expense account purchases. She's been living like a CEO of a Fortune 500 company off your investment. What happens now? Now we negotiate. They can't pay $1.7 million in cash. They don't have it. So we'll do a structured settlement. Monthly payments, sale of assets, probably a transfer of the business ownership to you. I don't want the business. Then we sell it to a third party and split the proceeds according to actual ownership, 60% to you, 40% to them. But Maggie, you're about to be a very wealthy woman. The settlement meeting happened 2 weeks later. William, Sophia, and their new lawyer, a sharp woman in her 50s who looked like she actually knew what she was doing, sat across from Jennifer and me in a conference room downtown. Sophia looked like she'd aged 10 years. No makeup, hair in a simple ponytail, wearing a plain black dress. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Their lawyer laid out their proposal. Mrs. Peterson, my clients are prepared to offer the following settlement. I listened as she detailed the terms. Sale of their house, they'd already found buyers. Transfer of Sophia's Mercedes, she'd downgrade to a used Honda. Monthly payments of $8,000 for the next 10 years from business profits. And the big one, I'd become the majority owner on paper with the option to sell my stake to an outside buyer whenever I chose. When she finished, Jennifer looked at me. Aunt Maggie? I looked at Sophia directly for the first time. I have one more condition. Anything, Sophia whispered. You're going to make a public post. On Instagram, Facebook, all of it. And you're going to tell the truth. That your self-made business was built on $140,000 from your mother-in-law. That she was your silent partner who you refused to acknowledge. And that you're sorry, Sophia's face crumbled. That will ruin my reputation. My brand is built on being self-made. Your brand is built on a lie, I said coldly. And if you want this settlement instead of going to trial where all of this becomes public record anyway, you'll do it, the lawyer started to object. But William put his hand on Sophia's arm. Do it, he said quietly. It's the right thing to do. It's what you should have done 4 years ago. Sophia closed her eyes, nodded. Then we have a deal, I said. 2 days later, Sophia made the post. I wasn't on social media much, but Barbara showed it to me on her phone. It was a photo of Sophia and me from Liam's 6th birthday party 3 years ago. We were both smiling, cutting the cake together. The caption read, "I need to come clean about something. 4 years ago, when I started Elevate Marketing Solutions, I didn't do it alone. My mother-in-law, Margaret Peterson, invested $140,000 of her life savings, money from her late husband's life insurance, to make my dream possible. She was promised partnership and ownership. I never gave it to her. Instead, I built a self-made brand while she lived in my house, helped raise my children, and never saw a penny of the profits she'd earned. I was wrong. I was cruel. And I'm deeply sorry. Margaret, if you ever see this, thank you for believing in me when I didn't deserve it. And thank you for teaching me the hardest lesson of my life, that integrity matters more than image. To everyone who believed I did this alone, I didn't. And I'm not proud that I let you think I did. The post had 2,847 comments when Barbara showed it to me. Most of them were brutal. Wow, this is disgusting. You stole from your husband's mother? Self-made my ass. I'm unfollowing. Can't support this. But some were different. It takes courage to admit this. I hope you use this lesson to be better. Margaret Peterson is a queen. Sophia, you better spend the rest of your life making this right. I closed Barbara's phone and handed it back. How do you feel? She asked. Like I can breathe again. 3 months later, I bought a small condo in downtown Naperville, 2 bedrooms, a balcony with a view of the river, hardwood floors, a kitchen with granite countertops. It cost $310,000, paid in cash from my settlement. It was mine, only mine. No one could take it from me. Jennifer helped me set up a trust for the rest of the money, $1.2 million invested conservatively. It would generate about $48,000 a year in income. Combined with Robert's pension, I'd never have to worry about money again. I decorated exactly how I wanted. Bright yellow curtains in the living room, Robert's favorite armchair by the window, photos of him everywhere, a guest room for when Liam and Ava visited, and they did visit. Every other Sunday, William brought them over. We'd make pancakes, go to the park, watch movies. Sophia didn't come. We'd agreed, in therapy that William and I were now doing together, that she and I needed space. Maybe someday we'd be civil, maybe even friendly, but not today. One Sunday, 6 months after everything, Liam asked me, "Grandma, are you happy now?" I pulled him onto my lap, even though he was getting too big for it. "Yeah, sweetheart, I really am. Even though you don't live with us anymore? Especially because I don't live with you anymore." I tickled his side. "Because now when I see you, it's because I choose to, not because I have to, and that makes it more special." He thought about that. "Dad says you're the bravest person he knows." My throat got tight. "Did he now?" "Yeah. He says you taught him that loving someone doesn't mean letting them hurt you." I looked over at William, who was helping Ava build a Lego castle on my living room floor. He met my eyes and gave me a small, sad smile. We weren't fixed. Not completely. Maybe we never would be. But we were healing, and that was enough. Today, 1 year after that text about leftovers, I'm sitting on my balcony watching the sunset over the Naperville Riverwalk. I'm drinking coffee from Robert's World's Best Dad mug. I'm wearing a new sweater I bought myself. Soft, lavender, expensive. My phone buzzes. A text from William. "Mom, the business sold. Your share of the sale is $340,000. It'll be in your account by Friday. Thank you for everything. I love you." I smile and text back, "Love you too, son." Then another text. This one from Liam. "Grandma, can we come over next Sunday? I miss you." "Of course, sweetheart. I'll make chocolate chip pancakes." I put my phone down and close my eyes, feeling the warm evening sun on my face. I think about all those women who messaged me after Sophia's post. Women who were being used by their families. Women who'd been made invisible. I'd started meeting with some of them. A support group, kind of. Women finding their voices, we called it. We met every Thursday at the community center. Last week, a 71-year-old woman named Dorothy told us she'd finally told her daughter she wouldn't be babysitting for free anymore. The whole group clapped, because that's what we do now. We celebrate taking up space. We celebrate setting boundaries. We celebrate remembering that we matter. My phone buzzes one more time. An email notification. The subject line reads, "Your application to volunteer at Naperville Senior Center." I'd applied last week to teach a class. Financial literacy for older women, protecting yourself and your assets. The email says, "Congratulations. We'd love to have you start next month." I laugh out loud, because a year ago I was invisible. I was eating canned soup in someone else's kitchen, being ordered to heat up leftovers like I was the help. And now? Now I'm living in my own beautiful condo with more money than I'd ever dreamed of, teaching other women how to protect themselves and spending time with my grandchildren on my terms. Did I get my family back? Not the way it was. That family, the one where I sacrificed everything and got nothing, is gone forever. But I got something better. I got myself back. I got my name, my voice, my power, my life back. And I learned the most important lesson. Love without respect isn't love. It's exploitation. And the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to walk away from people who make you feel worthless, even if, especially if, they're family. I stand up from my balcony chair, take my empty coffee mug inside, and look around my condo, at the photos of Robert, at the new furniture I picked out myself, at the sunset, painting Ava made me, hanging in a place of honor above my couch, and I smile, because Margaret Ann Peterson, 67 years old, widow, grandmother, investor, teacher, and survivor, is finally home, the end. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that it's never too late to stand up for yourself, drop a comment below. Tell me where you're watching from, and if you know someone who needs to hear this, someone who's being taken advantage of by family, someone who's lost themselves trying to please everyone else, share this video. Because the most important thing I learned is this: you teach people how to treat you. And sometimes the most powerful word in the English language is no. Subscribe for more true stories about ordinary people finding extraordinary courage. Because your story matters. Your voice matters. And you deserve to be seen. Until next time, remember, don't heat up their leftovers. Make your own damn meal.